It is 7:34. That's what time we do the 7:34 here at WCCO. I'm Jason DeRusha. Christiane Cordero wanted me to tell you all that she misses you very much. Christiane out on a story right now, so I'm in for her. And let's get you up to date on the 7:30 forecast. Meteorologist Riley O'Connor sharing this with us. Look at that weather today. Crazy, right? 35 degrees by noon, staying pretty steady throughout the day and the evening. Might be a little patchy drizzle. We're going to have a chance for that over the next couple of days. Maybe a little drizz, maybe a little snow flurry here or there. Nothing major to worry about. Parts of Minnesota, though, if you're watching us down in Red Wing or Mankato, Rochester, you have been dealing with some actual snow or freezing rain today, so we have a couple of school delays that have been happening. But in the metro area and the north, just a beautiful stretch of weather today. Let's talk about this. A Minnesota church asking older parishioners, hey, old people, get out of here. They want to make way for younger families. Grove United Methodist Church in Cottage Grove plans on closing this summer, then reopening in November. It's a very small church. The Pioneer Press reporting that just about 25 church members show up every week. Almost all of them are over the age of 60. And so the Methodist Church has said, all right, we're going to put in $250,000 to reboot this church. Cottage Grove only has 13 churches in that city. With the population, they could support a lot more. Church saying they need a reset because, hey, 25 people, not enough to keep the church going. And they need more money. But of course, the members who have been keeping this church alive are like, what on earth? You're kicking us out because we're old. So we want to know what you think. Is this age discrimination? Or is this necessary to try to give this church a rebirth, regrowth, bring younger families in to revitalize it? Love to hear your thoughts on Facebook. We will read a few of your comments in just a moment. Opening arguments begin later this afternoon in President Donald Trump's impeachment trial. They went till 1 in the morning, our time. That's when senators voted, not surprisingly, along party lines to accept the final rules. Some changes from the initial plan. Opening arguments will now be spread over 3 days, so these things won't necessarily be rolling until 1 in the morning. Republicans did reject Democratic demands for more witnesses, although that issue will be revisited after the opening statements and after the senators submit questions. President Donald Trump, wrapping up his trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, had a news conference just a couple hours ago before leaving, and the president was asked a lot about the impeachment. Of course, he said he would actually like to see John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Mick Mulvaney, and others testify, but he said he'd leave it up to the Senate. He also said he'd love to attend his impeachment trial, sit right there in the front row, but he figured his lawyers wouldn't allow that. Thousands of pro-life supporters are expected at the state capitol today for the annual March for Life rally. They are demonstrating against Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion in the United States. This march begins at noon on the steps of the Minnesota State Capitol. Trial of disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is set to begin today. Weinstein faces sexual assault charges that could send him to prison for the rest of his life. He's 67 years old, charged with 5 felony counts based on claims from 2 women who accuse him of sexual abuse. Weinstein's alleged predatory behavior sparked the Me Too movement in 2017. Since then, at least 100 women have publicly accused Weinstein of a range of actions, from unwanted sexual advances to rape. Weinstein has denied all of the allegations. U.S. now has its first confirmed case of the deadly coronavirus. The CDC says it was a guy in Seattle. Washington state health officials said the patient initially was seeking treatment for pneumonia, but they gave him the test and said, yeah, you've got coronavirus. Good news. They believe the risk to the public is low since this man asked for help right away.
I'm thankful that the man who tested positive for this virus acted so quickly and sought treatment. His actions gave us a head start, and because of that, we were able to isolate him away from the public.
More airports are going to be screening for this virus. Just added to the list, Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta and Chicago O'Hare, 2 of the busiest airports in the country. Love this story. We've all been there on our way home from work. You see a stranded car. Some of us do the nice thing, pull over, see if we can help. But maybe you wouldn't expect if someone pulled over to help you that the guy showing up would be Matt Dumba from the Minnesota Wild. On Facebook, Nicholas Swanson posted this from Monday night, a story about how he had stopped to see if he could help a stranded motorist, but it turned out somebody beat him there. Wild defensive Matt Dumba. This was after Monday's game at the X. Dumba didn't just stop to check. He stopped, then he went and got some gas at a nearby gas station to refill the tank. He helped the guy jumpstart his car. It's pretty good. What a great guy. I love to see this story getting a lot of attention, too. The family was all right, able to get their car started and get back on their journey. This year's NFL draft in Las Vegas could be set up like this. Players floating on the water. Looks like the league might want to have players ride a boat. Like when you get picked, you're the first pick in the first round, and here you come up on a boat to the lake and the fountain where the Bellagio fountains. I love this. It's absurd and ridiculous, just like the NFL draft is. Nothing's set in stone just yet, but the agency which oversees the Vegas Strip is talking about it. NFL draft is in April. Learning about some big concerts coming to the Twin Cities this summer. We tell you about it now because tickets go on sale soon. 80s making a comeback in St. Paul. Oh yeah, how about some Hall & Oates, baby? Xcel Energy Center, July 16th. You can buy your dad tickets for that this Friday at 10 in the morning. X also announcing Nickelback is coming on August 6th. You won't admit that you buy tickets for that show, but you're going to anyway. Those tickets go on sale tomorrow. Big show for country music fans. Old school country. George Strait coming to the U.S. Bank Stadium on August 22nd. First time performing in Minnesota since his tour in 2013. And he's got a great crew with him. He'll have Chris Stapleton, Little Big Town. How about that? Tickets for that show go on sale 1 week from Friday on January 31st. All right, we've had some weather around here that has been cold this month. Right now, it sure is nice, and it's so nice. Orlando, Florida is only about 5 degrees warmer than us right now. That prompted the National Weather Service to put out a warning that they have to put out once in a while in Florida, but for the rest of us, it sure seems weird. As temperatures drop, so do iguanas. I want an iguana. The iguanas are an invasive species in Florida, so they hate them. Floridian, like a real Floridian, does not like iguanas. And so the reason they give this warning is because when it gets below 45 degrees, the iguanas go into shock and they fall. And the Weather Service doesn't want people taking iguanas thinking they're dead and doing whatever it is one does with a dead iguana. Let's get back to today's talker. We are talking about a church that's telling the olds to get out. Someday this is going to happen to me at my church. Like I don't think that, believe me, when the Catholic Church tells the old people to leave, be a cold day in hell when that happens. I'm telling you that much. You could say that on the internet, right? I wouldn't say that on the TV.
I've already said it on 734.
Yeah.
So.
All right. What do people think about this? I imagine people. I don't know. I understand where the church is coming from.
I had trouble finding anybody thinking that this is the right approach.
No one supported.
Yeah, we have Susan saying they should look into cross-generational ministry instead of asking committed members to leave.
Yeah.
And we have Darla saying, I can't believe this will work. Just enjoy your fellowship with the older members.
It's hard, though, if you're a young family and you go into a church and 23 out of the 25 people in there are over 60.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. Like, I get it. I don't support it.
And then we have Leon saying, what happened to open hearts, open doors?
I mean, it's not very Christian.
And then we have Daryl saying, I would continue to go. They would have to stop me at the doors.
But it's like, would you, and they're not going to force people away.
Yeah.
But would you sacrifice yourself for the betterment of the future of the church? Tough question.
Very tough.
Tough stuff. All right.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you, Cole. And thank you guys for watching the 734. A lot of the Twin Cities on the go this time of day. We love hanging out with you and making us your place for mobile news. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:34. Until then, as Christian always says, be nice to each other on the internet.